So we probably should address why last week's episode was so goddamn irrelevant by the time of posting.
You go ahead. It's all your fault, so...
I don't have a good answer.
Just kidding. We're both equally lazy and, let the Call of Duty call us away from our real obligations, apparently, Marco.
Yeah, Call of Duty called me away. I mean, people could have been dying in my life. I mean, the buildings could have... homes could be on fire
You
around
could have
me.
been drafted by the actual military.
And I wouldn't know it.
Nope.
So I got to get this lint. These little fibers, this hot fire.
Yeah, it's definitely affecting your audio quality.
So, how do I put this?
I think we've said it ourselves best, honestly. We are consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
But, as we'll talk about very soon, we're turning that around.
Mm-hmm.
And with not only with the weight loss challenge, but with this show.
That's right.
So,
before we do that, let's crack open these beers.
I just took a preparatory Lactaid.
At first I thought you put gum in your mouth, and I was just about to be like, "What's the matter with you?
Have we not been doing this for 4 years?" No.
No, good call. Good
yeah.
call. Good call.
I was actually savoring the vanilla sweetness of the chewable Lactaid. If
you
you don't know, chewable Lactaid.
Put them on game. Put them on
Delicious.
game, son.
Delicious. I would
on
eat them
game.
for fun. They're that good.
I almost wish that I was lactose intolerant.
I mean, you can
so-
still have one.
I mean, I could eat one. You know what? Maybe I'll have one and see if it does anything.
Sure.
I don't think anytime I have any kind of dairy, nothing happens. The only thing that happens, I get a little congested. A little more congested.
I feel like that's true of anything you consume.
Yeah.
At all?
It's a pretty wide net of things.
I'm doubling up just in case.
Go ahead. I think you should.
The last time I had a beer with lactose in it, I was hurt.
It was an episode.
I was hurt.
It was a fucking episode.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain kind of wheat beer that will do it. And somebody told me
To stuff up your nose?
Yeah, and somebody told me, like, well, maybe you have a gluten intolerance. And I was like, maybe you should shut the fuck up. And so it's certain dairies. Like, they tell you not to drink full-fat milk anymore.
Sure.
Whole-fat milk. Whole fat.
They kind of tell you not to drink milk anymore, honestly.
Yeah, I guess they do. Sure. And you have really good alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, like everything else that's healthy, the alternatives are like stupid expensive.
Yeah.
You would think that crushing almonds to the point of juice
Milking.
would be super inexpensive.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Apparently
At
not.
least not now. Anyway.
I mean, I have seen that the almond milks are cheaper now than they were before.
The what milks?
The almond milks.
The what milks?
The almond milks.
Say it one more time.
The almond milks. The almondo milks.
I didn't know almonds was like was one of those pecan things.
It's mostly with nuts.
It's always just
like peanuts?
Yeah.
You ever had a peanut?
Testicles.
Yes. Testicles.
The great testicles.
To the Greek god Testicles. But yeah, I've noticed that the almond milk, or almond if you want to go that route, it tends to be a bit cheaper than like the oat milks currently.
Yeah, the oat milks are like that new shit.
It's
right
super
now.
expensive, and I love it, but it costs a lot.
Yeah, oat milk is by and away the best milk alternative.
I think so. I think so. Yeah.
One time I went to Dunkin' Donuts and I was getting a coffee and I said a cold brew, and she said, did you say oat milk? And I said, no, but put that in
yes.
there too. And she did, and I mean, it just took it to the next level.
That's always my order. That is my order. I get an oat milk with the cold brew.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, man.
It's beautiful.
I'm doing it. Oh, I got a French press, but I'll tell you about that when we crack open these beers. So let's get into them. Obi. What are we drinking tonight? Oh, my God. Are you okay?
Sorry.
okay. It's
Sorry.
okay.
Sorry.
We all forgive you.
So we have a Sideward Brewing Coffee and Cream Coffee IPA. This is in collaboration, of course, with Whippoorwill Beer House and Package Store, which is a great place to have yourself a beer or a natural wine. And they also sell cans and bottles to go as well. So if you just want to grab something and take it home with you, you can do that there too.
Super local place. If you're not from
yeah.
around here, sorry, but if you are from around, if you're in the Orlando area, you really need to drop by both Sideward and Whippoorwill.
Yeah,
both very, very cool places. So.
Yeah. And art on this is done by Secret Society Goods, very cool local artist.
Yeah, we'll obviously have the picture on Instagram and everything. Shout out to Whippoorwill, Sideward, and Secret Society Goods. Is there no copy?
There is no copy. Brewed and canned by Sideward Brewing.
Guys.
210 North Bumby Avenue.
Guys.
You know, I found a lot of our recent beers having little to no copy, and it's been disappointing me.
Yeah. I mean, that's half of the I mean, you do all this, which again, brilliant cover art. Brilliant beer label. But you got to have a story.
Something, yeah.
Why did you guys even collab?
Tell us about it.
Maybe we should have one of them on to tell us.
Okay, yeah. I'm down for that. Also, it says contains lactose. So
be prepared.
Be prepared.
All right, well, let's crack these puppies open and have ourselves a good old time. This is the One Beer In Podcast. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, fuck me.
She foaming.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in.
I went to Tilly's, and I was just looking for like a...
I didn't know you were a cool teen.
Yeah, I was once. I went there looking for like a crew neck or a hoodie,
Uh-huh.
and I found some good just plain old hoodies,
Mm-hmm.
and I got the big boys. I got the 2X because I was like, you know, I want these babies to like, you know, I don't want them to hug me. You know what I mean? I want them to float.
Yeah. That's how a hoodie should be.
Yeah. So I buy this. They had a deal going, buy one, get one 50% off. I don't even try to shit on because I'm like, it's a 2X.
Right.
You know what I mean? I buy the one hoodie. They tell me the other one has to be shipped to me because they don't have the color that I wanted in my size. So I'm like, whatever. Get home, try the hoodie on, and that motherfucking, I mean, it was so tight, Adam.
You have to understand, Tilly sizes are skater sizes.
And you know what? Shame on me for not understanding it, but shame on them for the disparity between what a normal 2X is and what a Tilly's 2X is.
Yeah.
Because there's, I mean, a bunch of skaters wear baggy ass clothes too, right? Chad Muska just wore a bunch of, I mean, that's a dated ass reference, but
sure is. Okay, Grandpa.
Hey, Tony Hawk just hit a 720 and we all celebrated that. You saw
true.
that? Saw that video of him doing that? Yeah.
Have you seen what the Wright brothers are doing nowadays? It's pretty crazy stuff.
I heard they got this round thing that you can ride stuff on.
Flying
it
right off hills.
A whippoorwill. A whippoorwill. So, I mean, that's relevant only because I'm fat and I'm trying to be unfat. One day I'll be able to fit in that hoodie. I'll come back and I'll buy that 2X and be like, this shit is fucking loose on me.
Baggy.
It's weird. I need a 1X, maybe just a no X.
Yeah, I mean,
otherwise known as a large.
No X. You have this in no X?
You got this in no X.
Extra no X?
All right. This is the One Beer In Podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew and see where that one brew takes us. My name is Marco Dupa. That is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
This one might take me to the bathroom.
And this is also episode 298. 2 weeks, Adam. 2 weeks.
We got some planning to do.
Yeah, we do. So, I hope this doesn't put you down, because it's delicious. Actually, I kind of do hope it does, so that you can't have the other ones.
I was going to let you have it anyway, but, now that you've challenged me, I might just have to and deal with the consequences.
I know you would. I know you would. I like the coat.
Thank you.
The coat looks great on you.
Yeah,
I said it to you privately, but I want to say it to you publicly because it looks fantastic.
I'm mostly happy that Florida and God gave me the opportunity to wear it.
That's right.
Because we actually had a cool week this week out of the blue when I was not expecting to be able to wear this until next year. But it's nice. It's comfy.
It's got to be weird for people when they're looking at like the thumbnails and seeing like wearing like T-shirts and shit, and then the next week
jacket,
shirling
coats.
denim coat, hoodie and a beanie. But that's how it is around here.
Floor's weird, yeah.
You posted a picture on Instagram. You had the hair down, the jacket, and I was like, "This guy's looking good. This guy's looking good."
Thank you. Thank you.
So, we'll get into the start of the weight loss.
Okay.
Let's talk about for a second. We'll just reassure you guys that we are committed to readjusting, reframing, everything, and making it so that, because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with the people.
Okay. Sometimes
I get low. I get down on myself. I get down on I have my moments,
Sure.
I usually try to stay in a pretty even keeled mood.
Yeah.
I try to stay in a good mood. I try to stay positive. I try to be a positive person, because I don't like to dwell on negativity, and I don't like bringing negativity to other people.
Yeah.
So I try to stay positive, but there's moments you have, and obviously recently it's just been even more because all you can do is just sit around and just stare at four corners, staring at candles. Yeah, just so I get down sometimes, and I'll be editing the show, and I'll just say, fucking cares, man. I know that that's not good, and I know that part of, I think how we handle putting the show out, I think we share equal responsibilities. You coming up with what you come up with and what you post, and me, just slapping the thing together to make sure that it makes sense. So I know that part of it is on me to get it to you so that we can get it back to me to get it out and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I feel guilty in that way because I know that we're both guilty of the delay, but I know that.
But also I'm not pushing you to do that.
I know.
So that's also mine as well.
Yeah. And I don't feel any pressure to be like, this is all on me. But when it is my responsibility, sometimes I just, I'll let the negativity take over sometimes.
Yeah.
And so there's moments where I'm just like, I'll just get it done tomorrow. Like it's homework I don't want to do.
Yeah. I understand. That's how sometimes it happens with me too, with my responsibilities. If you guys don't know how we make the sausage around here, you edit, I do the social media and put together the content of everything. So yeah, along the way we can just get to that point where we hand it off and then it just sits for a while.
Yeah.
Because either we get busy or, like you said, we're just not motivated at the time to do it right there and then it gets pushed off for another 2 days. And then by the time 2 days go by, maybe we're recording again and then we're 2 episodes behind and it just keeps compiling like that. So I think what we're trying to tell you is that we're committed to a new schedule, to sticking to a schedule, and specifically to a schedule that works for you guys. So our idea right now is to regularly put out the show by Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
So you have the entire weekend to go ahead and enjoy it, listen to it, retweet, do what the kids do nowadays.
Watch it, love it,
all that stuff. So
yeah, like, share, subscribe, retweet,
yes,
rate.
So, however, if that for some reason doesn't work for your schedule, or if we get a lot of feedback that that's not really working for our audience, I think I can say for both of us we're open to changing that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the idea behind it. That's when you can expect to hear from us every week. Tune in. We'll be there. Signed, sealed, delivered.
That's right. That's right.
Committed to it.
Yes. Recommitted to that. And the craziest thing is, I love the show. I love doing the show. I love putting the show out. I love editing the show. I just when you get discouraged, it's like an anchor pulling everything down. Even though you could be on the ship going, well, the ship's awesome, but you throw that anchor down and you're just like, well, I'm not going anywhere. It doesn't matter how I feel about this.
It's tough too because a lot of people don't know that we've got a lot of big plans. We got a lot of plans for where to take this thing and our next steps and things I think you guys would be really excited about. But we just have to get to that point, and it's hard when we're in that in-between space where we're not quite there yet. There's a few things we got to get, a few people we have to talk to, et cetera, but we're almost there. And it's hard not to get discouraged in that in-between place, but we're pushing forward. We're getting there, and there's big things happening, big things coming that I think we'll all be excited for when they're here.
That's right. So, just to reiterate, Saturday mornings, sometimes Friday nights, that's when the show will be out. You can bet money on it. We'll be there for you with a beer review and other content.
Yes. Miscellaneous other content.
Other content.
Yes.
Okay, got that out of the way. We're already working our way through the month of February.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the Great Weight Loss Challenge episode, we decided that we were going to give ourselves a couple of weeks to really start fresh. And so we said February is the date.
Yep.
And that's when we're going to start. So we're in it now.
Yeah. A little more than a weekend.
So.
Right? What's today?
What's the 3rd?
Okay.
Today.
Okay. Right.
I thought you were kind of playing with the numbers, and by the time people would hear this, it would have been a week. So I thought I'm not gonna.
Oh no, I'm not gonna
say anything.
No. I've just lost track of all space and time. Yeah. So our first week, I should say, we're in our first week.
We're in the first week.
Yeah.
So I say, I ask you, my friend, what. I'm not going to say what have you done differently because it's only been a couple of days, but what do you plan on doing differently? Now that we're in it, you have to have not a comprehensive plan, but something. You have to have
feel
something.
Unprepared all of a sudden.
Right. Give me a checklist of everything that you've decided to do. Give me the workouts. Give me the food.
What's your diet?
Your sleep schedule.
Yeah.
I want to know it all.
Well, it's funny you mention all three of those things because those are the three things I plan on focusing on. So, just today we kind of had to push back the show a little bit because I was off at Publix. And that's because I literally went through my fridge and went, I need a fresh start here. I tossed out a lot of junk food, got rid of a lot of stuff that I know I shouldn't be eating, and just kind of started with a lot of fresh produce, a lot of lean meats, and just with a plan in mind for what I'm going to be cooking myself. Because that's the thing that helps me out is I actually really like to cook. So I know a lot of people that struggle with dieting. It has a lot to do with the fact that they don't like to cook.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll just go to, Wendy's. It's easier. It's faster. I don't want to have to wait to make the thing because I don't know how to make the thing. And I don't know what I even want to make. But a benefit is that I like to cook. I feel like I'm a pretty good cook. So I can put things together. So I don't have a plan in mind as far as what my meal plan's going to be, but I gave myself the tools that I would need to put something healthy together.
Yeah.
And what I've been focusing on, even just for the past 3 days, has been more of a focus of not only what I'm eating, because I generally eat pretty healthy already. It's more on portion control. So I've been really focusing on how much I'm giving myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's already starting to make me feel a little bit better as far as not overstuffing myself and not going to bed feeling full, which is going to suck for a while. But I feel better because I feel like I'm making progress in that in that feeling of it's not that I'm starving necessarily, but I'm also not feeling like overstuffed all the time.
But isn't
either.
it like super satisfying to be in bed like a beached whale and go, all right, my day's over, and just
Yes,
until you pass out?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is like, I think my biggest struggle, other than, you know, just finding a way to do exercise without hurting myself, is the fact that I am a terrible sleeper. I'm just not good at it. I never have been. I think I've talked about it on the show a few times. It's just really hard for me to get to sleep, and get to sleep early, especially. I cannot be in bed before 11. I definitely can't be in bed before 11. Even 11's early for me. I usually am in bed by like 12, 12:30 sometimes on a normal day, and I'll wake up at like 7. So I'm not getting a ton of sleep, and that is, from what I understand, also a big factor in losing weight, is getting enough sleep, having that recovery time. So that's going to be one of my bigger goals, is to get better at sleeping.
How do you do that?
So I think some of it is simple in the way of, you know, not overeating. It's as simple and as difficult as something like that, where it's like, you just have to do it. You just have to set yourself up for that. So the way I'm going to set my plate, as it were, for sleep is I'm going to try to start winding down earlier. So like start the process at like 8 or 9 of winding down, and, you know, like, I don't know, not getting invested in a movie at that time, or, you know, not like starting a playthrough of a game that I know I'm going to play for at least 2 hours. Things like that, you know, like just give myself these, set myself up for these things that I can like easily cut off within an hour or so. Go take a shower, relax, get comfortable. You know, have like an essential oil thing, aerator thing. Put that on, you know, just maybe turn off the TV and listen to music.
Basically put yourself in the best situation to go to sleep.
Right.
Because what you've done in the past is just not do any of that.
No,
I mean,
no,
like
no.
The TV's on, lights are on sometimes.
Oh,
I
I actively push it off. I actively push it off. And I don't know what that's all about. I need to go to therapy maybe, but I actively push off sleep a lot of the time. And I've noticed that trend in myself is like, I'm always searching for, let me get as much as I can out of this day. Let me carve as much as I can out of it before I call it quits and call it a night and go to bed. Because like it's even to the point where like I'll be laying in bed and like my mind's still going, and I'm like on my phone looking at stuff and like watching videos, watching YouTube videos, and like, you know, just like filling my day as much as I possibly can until I literally pass out.
When you're feeling depressed, do you still get the? Do you still want to fill your day, or do you want to get the day over with? Do you feel like you need to fill the day because you haven't accomplished enough in that day, and that like contributes to it, or do you feel like?
I think it's more of that, where it's like I feel like I haven't had control of enough of my day. My day's been dictated by work, and so I think any moment I have outside of that 9 to 5, I'm searching for control.
Yeah.
And any which way I can get that by either saying, okay, I'm going to fill my time with playing this game, or, you know, cooking and then watching this thing, or getting into this new TV show, or, you know, whatever it is. Like I try to fill it in with something, or else I feel like I didn't have a day, you know, like I didn't have enough time. And I don't know. I think it's more of an anxiety thing than anything else, less than a depression thing. When I feel my depression kicking in, it's more of a thing of like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't get like sleepy depressed ever. You know, there's some people who are like, they get depressed and there's like, I'm lethargic and I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
That's it. I'll get tired, but I'll never feel like I need to go to sleep. I always try to just fill the void with something. That's another, like, you know, neurotic thing I find in myself is like I always need some stimulant, some sort of stimulation, keep me out of my own head. You know, I'm always listening to a podcast, I'm always listening to music. I can never just sit in peace and, you know, just exist.
Yeah.
I don't have that like zen peace of mind. You know, I'm constantly trying to fill the silence with something. And I think that's a big problem with my sleep schedule, is because if I had that, I could easily apply that to bedtime and just go, it's blackout time. You know, let's get quiet. Let's go to bed. But there's no peace. There's no peace going on here. It needs to keep going. So I think that's going to be my biggest challenge. But that's also going to be my biggest focus, along with obviously, you know,
portion control,
getting more active. Because I already feel like I have like the healthy eating thing down. It's just more of like making sure my portions are good, not snacking as much, and yeah, just getting active. Yeah, getting active more consistently. That's really what it all boils down to, though. As an umbrella for me as a human is the consistency. Yeah. So I think that's going to be my ultimate goal, is just being more consistent in everything I do. So, you know, so far, eating less, paying attention to how much I'm eating. Haven't worked out the sleep stuff yet.
It's only been a couple days.
That's true. I have gotten more active and have been actually using my standing desk more often.
That's good.
Stretching a lot more. I played Beat Saber for like an hour. Yeah. Because they have a Linkin Park pack that I just found, and it's all I needed. That's all the motivation I needed. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm good for like an hour. And yeah, I did that. I was super sweaty, and then I played some K-pop on it, and you know,
there you go.
That was it.
That's all you need.
Yep. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean that's been it for me so far. I know it's early on, but I'm feeling like I'm on the right track. It doesn't feel like something I'm not going to be able to maintain. Yeah, which is what I'm trying to keep up.
And that's the biggest thing, is you could, and I'm guilty of this. You can jump into, you know, some cool new thing, or you know, change your diet drastically or whatever. But if it's not something that you're going to do consistently, then it's not really helping you in the long run. It helps you in the moment.
And besides all that stuff, not drinking during the week, except for today, except for, you know, when we record, obviously, and maybe Saturday. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
That's a big one too.
Yeah, and I'm cutting out beer like mostly completely, except for this show. Yeah. So, you know,
maybe we should change the show.
I don't think so. I think I need this outlet. I love craft beer. So yeah. But I'm trying to limit myself. I got some vodka, and I got some
bubbly,
and I got tequila. So I heard all those are, you know, good, like low calorie.
Right. Well, they're just rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I figure I can make some like light cocktails if I want to drink.
Smart.
You know, as opposed to a heavy craft beer or stout or something.
Yeah. So I like whatever this is. Can I for a second talk about the bubblies you have in your fridge?
Sure.
Because they made me think about how much I used to dunk on any kind of seltzer. And I mean, the idea of a LaCroix, anytime I would make a joke or I would see somebody make a joke, it's low-hanging fruit at this point.
Sure.
But to me, it's one of the funniest things to try to get as imaginative as you can with how much LaCroix kind of tastes like whatever fruit it's supposed to taste like, yeah. Right? I would come up with stuff. I'd say like LaCroix tastes like if you drank Static and then someone yelled pineapple from another room. Let me think of some other. I had a bunch of them. I would just think of like somebody said something like it tastes like if you drink water and then like someone like spit pineapple into your mouth as you were drinking it. Yeah. Basically that like it's just a whisper of that flavor. It's not really that it's flavorless and that it's awful.
Sure.
And then my mom just started buying a bunch of them because she's always liked seltzer water or whatever, and she's always liked LaCroix, and I always would just like scoff at it and make fun of her, and she drinks like Pellegrino and all that shit. But then I was like, fuck it. So what happens is, first, the hard seltzer culture has had this boom akin to the craft beer culture in that everybody has one now. Even craft or microbreweries have
a seltzer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that contributes to it, right? Because now
it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing, like when you're having a good time, you can get a bunch of Bud Lights, or you could be like, let's get some fucking hard seltzers. Those are fun.
Yeah, it became, I think, for the past 3 years, 2-3 years, it became the Bud Light alternative, basically.
Yeah.
If you're at a party or you're watching football or there's a big fight on or something, and you're just getting a big old thing for a cookout, you know, that's going to be included as an alternative. I think it took over the space that like the past generation had for like wine coolers and stuff.
Yes. That's exactly what
the
it
Smirnoff
did.
ices and things like that.
This idea of drinking healthy while you're drinking.
Yeah.
You know, and like you just said with vodka or tequila, it is an alternative to, you know, hard drinking or drink, you know, killing a bunch of craft beers, obviously.
Right.
So it is an alternative, and so it became it exploded.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. Well, I understand why, but the idea is, I mean, it's just amazing how much it's become so ubiquitous now with everything as far as beer culture is concerned, drinking and everything. It's amazing. It's actually fascinating to think about. So that happens. You get used to drinking hard seltzers, and then sometimes you're just like, you know, I'm just chilling. I'm not going to drink a fucking hard water at 11 in the morning.
Yeah.
But I do want something to drink. I've got 30 cans of LaCroix in here. Let's just see how this tastes. And then you drink one, and you're like, yeah, it's as bad as I thought it was going to be. But I'm not a waster. Mom ain't raised no bitch. I cracked it open. I'm going to finish it. So I finish it, and then, you know, you're just like, well, let me try the other flavor. Maybe this one would be better than the last one. Maybe I was just wrong about this one, right? Yeah. And you drink that one, and you're like, that's not as bad as the last one, but it was still pretty shitty.
Yeah. You sound like someone trying crack for the first time.
I mean, I can see why. Yeah. I can see how these things happen. If you are committed to finding
this tasted gross, but I'll try it again.
See, usually I'm like, it's bad, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
And then it gives me a reason. It gives me an opinion to have. Now I have a thing. Now I can dog on that thing because I've tasted it. You can't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about because I tried it. It sucks. Yeah. You're going to hear me talk about it.
Yep.
But for some reason I was
That's the show.
Yeah.
Really.
And I thought for some reason there has to be a good one in here. And you just basically, long story short, you just keep doing it until your body goes, all right, you want to do this? Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
And it's just like anything else. I mean, you said crack, which is a fucking extreme example, but it's the same as like craft beer. You give an IPA to like your old man, and he's like, dude, what is this garbage?
This isn't beer.
Because all he's used to is drinking
poison.
El Presidentes and shit.
Yeah.
Like that's what he...
That's a little racist, but...
Well, okay, fine, sure. There was a Guyanese beer that my dad found at like Total Wine or something.
Really?
He brought it home. It's not Guyanese, it's like West Indian. He said it's really common out there in South America, and he was just like, he's like, this right here. This is what we used to drink.
This is the stuff.
This is the shit. And it was just it sucked. It was like a Yingling. it wasn't anything special.
Was it a Banks beer? This?
Was it that? I took a picture of it actually.
I'll look up West Indian beer. You can keep going.
So he it's just funny that he would be like, this sucks, and then you give him something like you know, we'll usually, if we're just chilling, we'll have High Lies. And you throw he'll toss a highlight back and just be like, how do you guys drink this shit? And it's like, man, you don't have any fucking standards. Like, what are you talking about? So anyway, I say all that to say I now not only don't despise LaCroix, but I fucking love it, dude. I love them. I can't stop. I think it was Banks, by the way. I think it was that one.
There's a few other options here that I'm seeing. There's Kingfisher.
It wasn't that.
Tarib, Tarib, or Calic. Those are the ones I'm finding so far.
Banks. It was Banks.
Banks.
It was
Okay.
Banks. That was the one. Yeah, dude. I just fucking I'll crush like 3 or 4 cans a day. Yes. See, Banks. That was the picture
Nice.
I took. Yeah, that was it.
I think it's from Barbados.
Caribbean lager. It's
Yep.
what my dad drink when he's thirsty. The imported Caribbean beer. What's the percentage on this bad boy? I think
It's probably like 5.
Yeah, it looks like 5.1 or 5.7. I can't tell from the angle I took that picture. Stupid me. Anywho. Yeah.
4.5.
So yeah. Fucking love those fucking things. Which is pretty timely now because, you know, I'm on the same page as you as far as the drinking alternative. I definitely I don't drink that much throughout the week, if at all.
Yeah.
Usually, because I'm just kind of my laziness kind of comes it sort of to my advantage sometimes. Because I don't feel like going to the store and grabbing more to drink, so I'm just like, I guess I'm not drinking today because I don't feel like leaving.
Yeah, that's good.
So, drinking LaCroix with vodka, you know, like a vodka soda or whatever.
Sure.
Well, that's Lottie's drink of choice when she's out, and now I'm like, I could fuck with that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Vodka soda.
Yeah, basically.
You have to have it with a little bit of lime though.
A little bit of lime for sure.
Gives it just a little flavor.
Just a little.
Yeah.
The sleeping thing I've historically
forget it.
That's my
superpower. Your points are all the way maxed.
I'm maxed out on sleep.
Yeah,
so I don't have to worry about that. I think my biggest thing is probably portion control, also mixed with probably could eat a little better. It's the snacking, dude.
Yeah.
It's the snacking.
I'm
a snack animal. I mean,
it doesn't seem like a lot at the time.
Right.
But over time, it becomes a lot.
Dude, I am notoriously bad. I can't. Once you pop, you can't stop, baby. Any halfway decent snack, I will crush it.
Yeah.
In a way that is just embarrassing, honestly. I just can't.
I've seen you do it. It's amazing.
I'll buy a box of Cheez-Its and I'll just be watching like a, you know, basketball game or something, and I'll be on the couch and I'll have it tucked in here, just kind of.
Yep.
And by game's end, whole box gone.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I used to a couple of my homeboys from high school. We'd play Super Smash Bros. And whatnot. We'd have like Smash tournaments, and in between when I was playing, Doritos just crushing them, and it's and that's how it is. I mean, my niece will come over and she'll buy a bunch of snacks and she'll be like, Uncle Marco, you can't have that. That's the one thing you can't have. And I'll be like, okay. And as soon as she walks out the door, just crush it, dude. Pringles. But I will say this: if you want me to not eat your snacks, buy fruit type snacks.
Okay.
I don't eat fruit by the foot, fruit roll-ups, little gummy shit. I don't like any of that shit. It doesn't taste bad. I'm just like, I'm not gonna sit around. It's like pouring sugar into my mouth, and I don't. That's the one thing I don't like doing. There has to be something else, like chocolate covered pretzels.
Okay.
I will devour.
Sure. Yeah.
But I won't just sit around eating chocolate.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's just like, it's too sweet. It's too much. It's just,
I feel like you would crush pretzels though.
I would absolutely decimate pretzels.
What's your favorite kind of pretzel? And I'm not talking about the like soft kind, because obviously that's superior. Of like the bagged, you know, hard pretzel.
Snyder's is the best.
Little bits, the little flavored bits.
Well, if we're talking about
not
plain,
brand. I'm saying like style of pretzel, because they make them in tons of different varieties.
So then, yeah. It's the Snyder's, like bits, flavored bits.
Yeah.
The jalapeno, buffalo, honey mustard. They're just a top tier snack.
The honey mustard and the jalapeno, like, I would inhale both bags together at the same time.
Stone Cold style, just ah.
I'm gonna isolate that.
Ah.
Everyone listening, please watch this episode on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, yeah,
fuck you, buddy.
it's amazing. Though that is an amazing pretzel. I think that is probably my winner now that you mention it. But originally, I was thinking the thin little rods they got.
Oh yeah, like the little pretzel sticks.
Yes, the little sticks. The little sticks. And
1000%.
second place, well, I guess third, because we're now counting those Snyder ones, the long rods. I like the long rods.
Just a
yeah,
and it's just like brittle and broken.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah,
and you get some some queso or something or melty cheese. And you dip it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about it.
Well, they do like these little snack packs with Nutella and shit with the pretzels.
Yep.
And I'm just like, you guys nailed it. This is it. This is what you do.
Yeah.
Top tier.
Yeah, and I feel like for the next 6 months, I'm going to continue talking about snacks like this.
Yeah,
that I'm trying to avoid. Because suddenly I'm very passionate about snacks.
Well, I think it's good to get it out.
Yeah.
We should talk about them to get them off our chest.
Sure. And you know what? Honestly, here's the thing. Like I'm being really good about it, and I'm not putting those things in my house. However, I'm not against the idea of getting them once in a while. That way I satiate that lust that I have.
You should.
You know?
You should.
And that way it's
that
like,
bloodlust.
I had it. I had the thing, and it was great. And now I can leave it for a while.
Yeah.
Because if I'm constantly thinking about a bacon cheeseburger, and I can never have it, I'm gonna start sneaking bacon cheeseburgers into my bedroom and eating them when I should be going to sleep.
Pillowcase.
Yeah. And I don't want to get there. So
yeah.
I'm gonna allow myself certain things at certain times. You know, I may base it off of like my performance throughout the week and be like, okay, you can allow yourself this now. I know they say psychologically it's not the best thing to do, because you shouldn't be like having this like reward performance type of relationship with your dieting and your exercise. But you know, fuck all that.
You know,
I'm gonna do it. I don't care.
Unsolicited advice. I don't think you should tie it to your performance. I think you should just have a day where you do it regardless of your performance.
And I'm half joking, but Sunday's gonna be my day.
Yeah,
Sunday's gonna be my like refresh cheat day, because I always have my mom's dinner on Sundays.
Right.
So I'm not gonna be able to be like, is that chicken baked?
Right.
You know. So you know, I figured that'll work out. You know, Super Bowl Sunday, that works out.
Of course.
So I feel like I'll be able to like finagle that to make that my like cheat day.
Yeah.
And you know, if there are any other special occasions, maybe I can like make that work out, but like try to be conscious of what I'm doing.
Well, especially in those situations, that's where the portion control thing is going to come in
exactly
the most.
Yeah.
Because you know, those are the situations in which I just lose my mind.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody's over and my mom makes baked mac and cheese, I mean, I'm doing like a brick of mac and cheese, bro.
Yeah.
It's like it's not even a question.
Yep. And I think a lot of it is also setting yourself up to win in those situations too, because like, for instance, for Super Bowl, you know, I don't really have any plans per se. I might go to my parents' house like I usually do on Sundays and, you know, watch it over there. But if I don't, I'll just be here, and in order to allow myself to, you know, satiate my you know, crappy food tastes for an event like a Super Bowl Sunday, I am going to make myself some sliders.
Okay.
But I'm going to make them out of turkey.
Okay.
Ground turkey. And I bought basically like a bunch of salads to add to it and stuff to get more nutrition in there involved.
Okay.
And again, like I said, I didn't buy a bunch of Bud Lights or, you know, other craft beers and stuff. Instead, I got, you know, lighter, lower calorie liquor with just soda water.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, I'm trying to allow myself some freedom and wiggle room while also being conscious of what I'm doing.
Right. So I want people to understand this. We're not going to we're not going to boot camp or anything, or fucking, you know, people are like, well, I mean, shouldn't you just cut out the alcohol completely? And do you want to raw dog life? Because I don't. I prefer not to. So I'm gonna need something.
Yeah.
And so just keep that in mind if you're listening to this and going, well, why don't you just not look? There's no not.
We know.
just.
We know.
Yeah.
We know.
We got that, but we know we're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
just get that out of your heads.
Yeah.
And it may hinder how much weight you can lose. Obviously.
Sure.
We could just not do this, or you could just not watch the fucking show.
This is the show. If you don't like it, you can get out.
Oh, fuck God.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. No, it's okay. Don't feel your feelings. Feel your feelings.
I'm feeling hungry.
I know, dude. I had my dad baked some chicken and he made some scalloped potatoes, which I thought were great.
Yep.
But I could really just go to Five Guys, and just.
Yeah. And you know what? I follow way too many places locally that just take food porn pictures.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
And I didn't notice it until now. And I may have to do some unfollowing because it's getting ridiculous. I'm seeing bacon cheeseburgers or Nashville hot chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I had a salad for dinner.
Yeah.
And it's getting rough. And we're in day 3.
Yeah.
So
no, it's okay. This is it starts hard, it gets easier, then it gets hard again.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So it's okay. We'll make it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the beginning.
The best is yet to come. Feels good to say.
Yeah. I think this kind of goes along with this thing that I saw on Twitter. Because there's this whole culture around normalizing things that I don't know, I guess society says that shouldn't be normalized. Fat culture.
Obesity,
yeah. There's this whole movement behind normalizing being obese, clinically obese.
Sure.
Being, I don't want to say unhealthy because that's a disparity, and that's also that's very person to person. You could be clinically overweight but still be healthy.
Yeah.
There are people who are bigger than me who could run circles around me, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that I'm in worse shape than people who probably look worse than I do.
Sure.
By society standards. So I understand all that. But there is a certain level of okay. Is that normal? I don't think that's normal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What is normal, Marco?
What is normal? I was talking to somebody on Twitter about that, and I had to refrain from posting Tom Segura's bit on normal. He has this bit where he's like, what people always say, what is normal?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, that's such a R-worded question.
No.
because it's what's normal. You know when you walk down the street, if a dude's jerking off, that's not normal. You know that.
Yeah.
We don't have to have this conversation of what is normal.
Yeah. I think the question's more of what is acceptable by society.
Yeah, I think in 2021 that conversation has evolved into, okay, where are we? Where are we now? So what do we accept now? Mm-hmm. Because back in the day, it's very easy to say,
I don't like that.
Yeah. And
you can't eat here.
And that was it. I don't like the way you're looking at me, boy. Mm-hmm. And that was it. That was normal.
Right.
It was very easy to say if you drank alcohol, that was normal. If you smoked weed, that was slightly abnormal.
Yep.
It had its own culture around it, but it wasn't weird.
Yep.
But if you did hard drugs, that wasn't normal.
Yeah.
That was very easy for all of us to collectively say, that's not normal. You shouldn't do that. Right?
It's very, I feel like that's very determined by your culture, though. Because, we've talked in the past where we've grown up in a culture where the norm is people don't do cocaine.
Yeah.
That is a step too far.
Yeah.
People smoke weed. That's fine. Whatever.
You could do almost any other drug.
Pretty much.
Every
people
psychedelic
do
in the
psychedelics and stuff, all that stuff. Like, you don't look at that weird, but you look at cocaine in the same way you look at, like, speed.
Yeah.
Or, you look at meth or something. Like, it's similar vein. Not quite at heroin standards, but also, like, a step too far.
Heroin is that top dog,
it's
right?
It's the top dog. It is. It is. It really is. I think it involves the injection.
It's too much.
Intravenous is like, ooh.
Just imagining, I mean, there's probably more sophisticated ways of doing it now, but just imagining someone in a bathroom lighting a spoon and then and then pulling that into a needle and then slapping the arm and tying it with like a belt.
That's an extreme within the extreme.
Right.
Right. That's like black tar heroin
right.
level of it's like the freebasing of heroin.
But that's what I don't know about you. For me, that's what I visualize. If somebody was like, they were doing heroin, like they were in the
course. And you see the painting with Jesus behind him. Like, come on?
What are you doing,
dude? With the rubber thing around the arm.
And then they do the one, and then they just unwrap it slowly and like pops off their arm, and they just
right. So, I bring that up to say, however, with cocaine, I feel like there's a lot of other people, mostly white people, usually affluent, who see that as like a totally okay thing along the same lines as like weed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think for a lot of people of color, cocaine is wrapped in with coke or crack.
Yes.
So I feel like that distinction is not made very much in affluent white communities, where it's like cocaine's a safe thing. You just do it to get energy and go, have a longer night.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw it that way.
Yeah.
It was always like that's dangerous stuff. I don't know if I want to mess with that.
Yeah, it's all in the same bag,
right.
Literally.
Yeah. So I say that to say I think norm is highly influenced by what you grew up with as a norm and what's influenced you throughout your life to this point as being normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And normal's not necessarily right, because like we just said, back in the day, norm was to be racist.
Yeah.
So, the norm is not necessarily, the status quo especially, is not necessarily the right thing. It's just what happens to be what collectively people feel like.
Let me pull up this tweet, which kind of prompted this conversation. We'll get that
soundboard.
Yeah,
we need that.
We'll get that back one day.
While you find that, have you watched any WandaVision?
Nadav is Googling. No, not yet.
Okay.
And you know what? Here's the thing. I'm not
going to.
I'm not waiting on it so that I can binge it.
Okay.
I just haven't watched it.
Well, you're notoriously bad about watching TV shows.
Exactly.
So
but it's not. I saw people arguing about that. There was somebody posted a thing where like they were saying, "Oh, it's really fun watching people discover TV shows."
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because for a long time, and you know what's funny? On this podcast, we talked about how these streaming services need to go back to the weekly release and experiment with, seeing how people receive that. And what I've seen, to Disney Plus's credit, first of all, they have done that.
Yeah.
With WandaVision and with The Mandalorian so far, their weekly drops. Amazon Prime kind of did it with The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
They gave you the first 3 episodes, and then the rest of them were weekly drops. And the first season was weekly drops. So these streaming services are trying to do that. Yeah. And from what I've seen, it's been very polarizing. You see a lot of people who are like, no, dude, this isn't how I watch TV.
The backlash with The Boys season 2 was like crazy.
Yeah, people are not happy about the first 3 episodes, and they're like, well, where's the rest of it? And it's like, well, it's coming next week.
They were review bombing it because of the way that it was coming out.
Which is so fucking pathetic.
It's stupid.
I fucking,
stupid.
I hate fanboys so much, man. They're the worst. They're the worst.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about Godzilla.
So I said this on Twitter. I said, motherfuckers want to normalize everything nowadays. Like, bro, we're not going to normalize you ODing on heroin in the bathroom at work. And in parentheses, yes, this was a real thing I saw on a thread, which it was.
Okay.
This person was saying, I didn't want to retweet it because I didn't feel like dealing with the person if they saw me quoting it.
You didn't want that smoke.
Yeah, I honestly didn't.
It's
I
fine.
just didn't. I didn't want to deal with it, so I just I cowardly referenced it without referencing it.
Right.
But it was something that I saw where this person was like, they were the original tweet was a tweet that had gone viral about drug testing at jobs, and they were saying you shouldn't be drug testing for weed, or you shouldn't be drug testing to get a job. And then a bunch of people were saying, yeah, if it's weed, it's fine. That's stupid. They shouldn't be drug testing that. And then a lot of other people were going viral by quote tweeting it and making jokes about how, like, bro, they need to drug test for shit like heroin. I don't want to kick the door in at the bathroom and see you like ODing. And then there was a bunch of people in the comments who were like, normalize not shaming people for things like that, and normalize doing those kinds of drugs, and and it's like, okay. Listen, you want to talk about the definition of normal, we can have that conversation.
Sure.
But there is nothing normal about you borderline killing yourself in the bathroom of a Taco Bell.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
I don't care how you grew up, where you grew up, who your parents were, what you went through. There's nothing normal about it. It's sad. It's depressing. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not shaming you as a person, but there's nothing normal about that.
Sure.
You cannot expect me to walk in, see you slumped on the toilet with a needle hanging out of your arm and go, Jerry, and then just go back to the fryers. That's not normal.
Right,
okay? It's
right.
not. And you're not going to convince me that that's something that society needs to start turning the other cheek on.
Yeah. I think what they were getting at was not necessarily normalization of that, but not, I guess not the judgment of it in a way that makes it so you're not conscious of the fact that addiction is a disease, you know?
Yeah.
Because I can empathize with that point of view where it's like, you don't want to make it so that these people are looked at as just like criminals, you know. I'm kind of one for decriminalizing drug offenses in general, because you know, clearly, like, sure, a lot of the people like to give the devil's advocate that, you know, oh well, you know, if you didn't do it in the first place, you wouldn't be here anyway. Sure, but we're all human beings. We all live our own lives. Everyone has their own circumstances and situations that lead them to whatever path they got down to. I'm not saying it didn't ultimately fall down to their decision making, but that being said, you know, you choose to try a hard drug at 20, and you know you're 10 years down that path, and suddenly you're homeless and, you know, addicted to meth or, you know, whatever else, heroin. You shouldn't be looked at as this, you know, piece of human garbage. You know, like there should be some empathy there. And it shouldn't be a thing of like, this is a criminal. It should be, this is someone in need of help.
Yes.
So in that regard, if that was the intent of what they were trying to get at, I 100% agree. Yeah. And it shouldn't be a thing of like, you know, it's hard to say judgment, because of course you're going to judge as a human being and be like, what the hell are you doing? But at the same time, I think, you know, to a certain extent, people should have empathy for people with addictions and try to understand that, you know, they were just like you at some point. They were kids, and something led to this point. They weren't born this way. So, you know, try to have some empathy for people.
I think that kind of goes into another problem that we're having on the internet right now, which is the overabundance of these buzzwords. Because I agree with you completely.
Are you gaslighting me?
I think, yeah. Shit, I couldn't think of another one. That's bad improv, baby.
No. Yes, no.
Yes, no. I agree with you 1,000%, and I think that that's exactly what this person was trying to say, which was you should have empathy for people who are going through these things, and you shouldn't judge them. The problem is they use the buzzword normalize,
right.
normalize, and we're seeing that too much because people are going viral with these normalize wearing earrings to work and bullshit like that, where it's like, look, dude, you want to do your thing. Do your thing. I know that's a pretty innocuous. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I saw another one that was like normalize tattoos and piercings at work. Like,
Sure.
who decided that tattoos and piercings are unprofessional?
Right.
And we should like get that idea out of our head. And we should.
Yeah.
As a person who has tattoos and piercings.
I mean, honestly, tattoos and piercings cost money. So
yeah. So you must be making some kind of money.
I can't afford a full like arm piece. So
yeah.
Sleeve. I said arm piece because I
Arm
don't have
piece.
any tattoos. Clearly,
It's an arm piece.
It's an arm piece. So yeah, I mean, especially nowadays, it's such like a norm.
Yeah.
It is a norm.
Yeah,
It's a norm.
It is. It exactly. It has been normalized.
Right.
Sure. And that's the thing where, you see a bunch of people with it and you don't even, you look the other way. You don't even think about it. So that is a situation where normalizing something is good. You should normalize those things because it's not a judgment of who that person is, and it's not a judgment on their quality of work.
Sure.
Versus something like doing drugs at work should not be normalized because it hinders their ability to do their job. That's
the
all
thing,
they're
too.
asking you to do.
With the origin of this conversation on that tweet, you were saying it was really about drug testing at the workplace, right? So with that argument, in general, I agree. Where it's like, you don't need to know if I smoke weed in my downtime, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're a doctor, they should probably know if you're on drugs or not. If you're a surgeon, they should probably know. If you're a cop, they should probably know.
Yeah.
Like these certain positions that involve life and death, high danger, construction workers, anyone in charge of like heavy machinery. Even with that stuff, they have to know if like you're on prescription drugs.
Yep.
Because all that can hinder your reflexes and everything else.
Dude, my dad almost lost a job because he's on pain medicine from his back and all that stuff, and he forgot to disclose one of them, and they were like, "What the fuck is this?" And he was like, "Oh, that's the thing that I take." And they're like, "Are you crazy? You can't." Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, to think that you, Mr. Fucking shit.
Your improv is so low
Dude,
today.
it's bad.
What's
it's bad
happening?
Today. I can't think of. I'm just losing the references.
There's coffee in this.
I wanted to
It's
say.
supposed to help.
I wanted to say Mr. George Jefferson because they're doing like PCP.
Okay.
But I ruined it. It's bad improv,
fine,
baby.
It's fine.
You, Mr. George Jefferson, want to come in here and do that sticky icky icky, that ooh wee, that yeah, that bang bang. That's fine. Do that on your own time.
Right.
Because I feel the same as you. Decriminalize all of that shit because what a consenting adult does in their spare time is none of my business. You want to do that? Fine, dude. Have a gay old time. I don't care.
Yeah.
But when you're out in public or when you're in a workspace, especially ones, the couple that you named, and just pretty almost every job that you can think of, that obviously is not life or death, the importance kind of, lowers a ladder rung, but still, like, it's like if I'm working at McDonald's or Taco Bell, I still don't want Jerry like dozing off and falling asleep and his face going into the fryer because he's OD'd or he's all, dazed and confused Johnny Depp. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be a certain level of, there is a baseline for normal, and we push that baseline depending on, I think what normal really is what does the consensus believe?
Sure.
You're not going to get everybody because there's always outliers to everything, right? But if the consensus is picking up Bikini Bottom and moving it over here, then I think that is our new definition of normal. And it's a constantly evolving thing.
Yeah.
But there's some things that I just think, like, I don't think that there's an argument there. I think that that opinion is an outlier opinion of like you should normalize furries walking into or dressing like that at your workspace. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that. I'm not shaming you as a furry. Do whatever you want in your free time, but you shouldn't be able to walk into the office with like a dog mask on and be like, "What's up, dude?"
Yeah, work has different rules, and I mean, there's going to be people who are like, "This is the real me," and like, this is on a similar level as like you telling, you know, a black man he can't have an afro, or a black woman keep her hair natural.
Oh, I would love for somebody to bring that point up to me while defending being a furry.
And then you choke them violently to the ground. But that's always going to be the argument, is like, you're oppressing me.
Yes.
And this is who I am, but you're oppressing me, and therefore you're canceled, sir.
Hey, yes, I am oppressing you. You're oppressed.
You're oppressed.
Yeah. You need to oppress that shit. Keep it in your fucking living room.
No.
Okay? When you walk out the door, that shit is oppressed. It's oppressed at the door.
Okay.
And you're wearing a tie on your way out. Okay?
It can have dogs on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to wear a dog keychain?
Yeah.
You want to wear like a little foxtail out your back pocket?
Sure. Do it.
Do it. Fine.
Yeah.
But
keep it on your lanyard.
But if you walk in and your big furry gloves are on and you can't type because you're like, this is me. Or you're like in character and you won't speak to me, you just keep woofing at me. Yeah. We have a problem. Okay?
And I want to be known, I think there's a clear allusion here that could be made to trans people, which I 100% am not making the allusion to. You know, I that's not what I'm saying at all.
That's lost on me.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, you can interpret what we're saying here of, like, you know, even though this is the real me, you need to oppress that when you're going to the workplace. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So that's not what we're saying here.
Right.
It's not about that.
But that is interesting that you bring that up, because you could make a clear correlation there to saying, like, you know,
it gets tangled, right? It really does.
It does get tangled.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting you bring that up, because your first answer is to say, of course we didn't mean that. And of course we didn't. But that thought didn't even cross my mind. But it didn't cross my mind because it's not at the forefront of my mind. Because their struggle is not at the forefront of my mind. Because people who are going through that obviously think about being the real them when they leave the house.
Yeah, being accepted in the workplace, even though people won't, based on what they pass for or not, you know?
I mean, you would think that common sense would say, of course, not you. We didn't mean you.
Yeah.
We meant the people who were doing, like, weird shit.
Sure.
But then, like,
what is weird shit?
Yeah, exactly.
And then we get back to the main core of this entire thing. What's the norm?
Fuck.
Well,
I guess we didn't gain anything. we made no
here's the problem. We don't know what to do with it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I think my biggest, the crux of my issue with this is stop trying to normalize everything. Some things aren't normal. But there's nothing wrong with not being normal. There's certain situations where those things just don't play.
Yeah.
You know, like the point that you bring up about trans people, like that it may not today be normal by society standards, but it's on a different level than you know, wanting to wear lederhosen to work every day. It's like, look, dude, that's your life, but that's not normal. You like, you have to accept that some of your idiosyncrasies are not normal.
Yeah. Or like on Your Mom's House, the video of the guy with the kink that's licking the boot on the train.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, that's okay if that's what you're into, but it's not normal.
You don't get to do that on a public bus and then go, "What are you looking at?" Like, no. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that is interesting. That is interesting that you bring that point up.
Because there were a lot of things that were not the norm today, that are the norm today.
Yeah.
that weren't the norm before, that are the norm today.
Yes.
Is what I meant to say.
And who knows, dude? 5 years from now, maybe even shorter, maybe longer, maybe furries will be normal in the workplace.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be something where it's a fucking free for all.
Yeah.
And the old guard just have to deal with it. I mean, it's you see it on the internet now where you're like, some shit you go, you shouldn't be able to do that. You didn't earn your stripes. No, I don't mean like normal shit. I just mean like I mean like in the way of comedy or in the way of, you know, posting things, or why does this person get all of these followers? They didn't earn it and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. Back in the day, like now that's so normalized. Being on TikTok, for instance, and getting 60 million followers, making money off of that being a viable revenue source for a person was not normal.
Streamers being a normal
thing. Gaming as a sport still is looked down upon by real sports guys who are like, you don't do anything. It's not a sport.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a sport either. I think it's an e-sport. I don't think it could be.
Well, that's all they label it as.
Yeah, and that's how I think it should stay there.
Mm-hmm.
But
normalize esports.
I do love that it's featured on SportsCenter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love seeing that, and I love seeing wrestling clips because I love looking at the comments where like the sports dudes are just ripping their hair out. It's like, why can't you just dude? I enjoy all these things. I love looking at fantasy. I love looking at fucking stats of real athletes. I love watching basketball, football, baseball, all the sports, and then I also love wrestling, and I like the goofiness of it. And I like why do you guys? Why does it make you so angry?
Yeah, I know.
It makes them so angry to see. Every single time you'll see it. Not a real sport. Why SportsCenter posting this? Wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they doing this? I'm unfollowing. Like, you're unfollowing SportsCenter?
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Go off, King.
Were you gonna get it from NBC Sports?
Yeah.
Fine.
Gross.
Anyway.
Fox Sports 1.
Ugh. Oh God. Fox Sports 1. So yeah, I don't think we made any headway in the what is normal conversation.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
We're not here to solve problems here.
No, we're here to just talk about them for an hour plus.
Yeah.
And then, you know, not do anything with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's you deal with that.
That's your job.
Yeah. We're just here to kind of facilitate the conversation.
We present the problems. You solve them.
Right. We lay them out on your table, and then we say, what do you want to do with this? Mm-hmm. Because we're not doing anything with it. And we drink our beer and we tap dance away.
Yep.
So, you want to do the Golden Globes? And then we'll get out of here?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Golden Globe nominations came out, and I think it's been pretty the way that I feel personally about award shows is pretty well documented. I think and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're a little more on the fence when it comes to award shows. I think I'm like actively angry with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're as passionate.
I don't have enough energy for that. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with them. It just seems like a big circle jerk to me. But you know, it's. I mean, if I were to ever direct a film or write a film, I would love to get an Oscar. You know, that still matters. But I don't know. I mean, obviously there's huge flaws in them. It really doesn't mean anything per se. It's cool to have on your box that you're selling.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not passionate one way or the other, though, like you are, I feel.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the award season is coming up. Adam's a coward. And we're going to look at we're going to look at the nominations because that's always fun. Is that your watch?
I don't know. Could have been.
Did your watch pick up my voice?
I think it did.
Was that my voice?
Weird.
All right.
Okay, so
Hi guys, so I am editing right now, and I realized that we proceeded to just rattle off the Golden Globes nominations without any sort of discourse or input, so we're going to do this, and back to the show. And just list the... People can look up the lists.
Sure. Okay, so for, let's say, musical or comedy, I've seen Borat, I've seen Hamilton, and I've seen Palm Springs out of those.
Hamilton shouldn't get nominated.
It's weird that they mix musical and comedy because they are not the same thing.
They always do that, and it's so irritating that they do that. The Golden Globes is so fucking lazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, out of what they have there, I would probably vote for Palm Springs. I really like that movie. If you haven't seen it, it's on Amazon, I think. Really
is that the one with Andy Samberg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's good.
It's like Groundhog's Day, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
For drama, I meant to watch Mank, but I never got to it on Netflix.
Yeah.
But I will because I'm a film dork. And the other one that I see on here, the other two, I should say, that I've heard of a lot, but I haven't seen myself, are Promising Young Woman and The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Yeah.
Which Chicago 7's on Netflix. But something about that movie in particular just turned me off. And I think it was that it looked like Oscar bait.
Yeah. Courtroom drama.
Right.
Pretty, inflammatory subject matter. You got Sacha Baron Cohen doing an American accent. Poorly, by the way.
Yeah.
And he was, like, hesitant about it. And he was like, I don't know if I can even do it. His English accent is so so pronounced. And his other accents are fantastic.
Sure.
But his English accent sucks. I'm just saying it. I'm just going to say it right here.
His
right
American
here.
accent.
What did I say?
His English accent.
His American accent.
His English accent's phenomenal.
But also terrible.
Yeah.
No, his American accent, it's not good. These guys, hey, listen. That's what they do, right? They go over to the UK and they get a bunch of English actors and they bring them over here and they say, yeah, you can play Malcolm X. That's fine. and everyone, fine. But it's not. It's not fine because then you get guys who can't do it.
I feel like there's a lot of English and other UK actors who can pull off a really good American accent, but it takes a type of actor to do it. And I think they need to have been a student of a lot of American cinema and TV. And if they didn't have that and didn't practice that over time, it's hard to you can hear it. That's all I'm saying. They're not better than us is what I'm trying to say.
They're not. You know the guy I think who does it the best currently? Daniel Kaluuya. Yeah. His American accent is so good that I refused to believe that he wasn't American.
He's just
I found
putting
out.
on an accent.
I was like, no, there's no way he's not from here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not a fucking linguist or anything, but I think I have a good ear for bad American accents, and I like to point them out. I like to hear them. Idris Elba's pretty famously not good. Yeah. And
he comes in and out.
What's so funny is he did The Wire and people were like, he's not from Baltimore, and you're like, dude, seriously?
I thought that's what people from Baltimore sounded like.
I mean, come on. So, yeah, and there's a couple of them where you're like, it's not a good accent, man.
Yeah. But I've heard good things about Promising Young Women.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But anyway, foreign language film. There is one here that I did see, and it's La Llorona, which shouldn't be mistaken for the crappy Curse of La Llorona. I think that came out a few years ago. This one is a Guatemalan and French film that actually came out on Shudder.
Oh, that's why you watched it.
Yes.
I was about to say, why?
Yeah. So it's a horror movie, and the fact that it's being nominated for Best Foreign Language Film and it premiered on Shudder, or not premiered, it premiered in real life, but the fact that it's featured on Shudder is pretty surprising to me. They gave light to this kind of smaller foreign horror movie.
They're being very friendly with the apps. this year.
I
At
mean,
least with the Golden Globes.
at least for this movie, it 100% deserves it. So
Well, how many of those movies and TV shows are like Netflix TV shows or
that's
Amazon
true.
Prime
Yeah,
shows?
yeah.
So
That is a good point. Let's see here. We'll skip screenplay.
yeah, I mean, the biggest ones are motion picture, comedies. We already went through the actors and actresses. We did best movies. What's best comedies? What's the one that James Corden is nominated for that got everybody all up in arms?
The
The Prom? Something about a prom?
The Prom. And he's nominated for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy.
Now, see, that's wild because literally every single thing that I read written about that movie was it was either mediocre to okay.
Mm-hmm.
The worst part of that movie is James Corden. Everything, Adam, everything that I read about that movie said that he is the worst part of that movie.
I mean, maybe it's one of those things they just included him because there wasn't much else to pick from.
Lord knows why, but it is the strangest nomination.
I mean, he's not going to win because he's going up against Sacha Baron
1000%
Cohen,
He's not going to win.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, Dev Patel, and Andy Samberg. Like,
all right.
it's stacked
Who do we
against him.
think? Just who do you think out of that right now? Without having seen those movies, just knowing those nominees, I'm going Dev Patel.
I'm going to go Sacha Baron Cohen.
Okay, for Trial, right?
No, for Borat.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, because it's lead, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know James Corden was leading that movie. I thought he was a supporting role.
Yep. So I think they'll give it to him.
I'm still going Dev Patel.
Or, I mean, you know, they could give it to Lin-Manuel.
I hope not. I hope that movie doesn't get any awards, and I'm not saying that because I don't like Lin-Manuel or Hamilton, but I think it's cheating to just film a stage play and then put it on and then go, see, now you can give us awards for it.
That's true.
I think it's cheating, so
That's
I hope
true.
it doesn't win anything.
That's true. I think they're going to think that way. And that's why I think I'd go with Sacha Baron Cohen.
Like, look, dog, you got your Tonys. Like, fucking selfish. Like, what more do you
Go
want?
home.
Yeah, man. Fuck you. Make a movie. You want movie nominations? Make a movie. You want a Golden Globe? Make a shitty TV show.
For Best Animated, The Croods.
Oh, dude, we are
The
fucking.
Croods.
Oh, we are starving
A
for good
New
animation.
Age, which is the sequel to The Croods.
What's that sitting at on Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't know. Look it up.
I'm gonna look it up. You keep looking at the nominees.
But there's no way they win because they're going up against Onward, Soul.
Oh wow, it's got 77. It might be an actual good movie.
Looks so stupid.
Well, okay, but here's the thing: this cast is kind of out of control. You got Ryan Reynolds as Guy, Emma Stone, Nicolas Cage, Catherine Keener, Leslie Mann. That's a pretty solid cast for a movie that, like, you got Peter Dinklage, Kat Dennings, some other actors who people don't really care about. Clark Duke. You may know him as the fat-faced kid that, for some reason, in like the mid-2000s, he kept showing up in these movies, and for some reason they were like, yeah, women would want to fuck this kid. This guy?
Yes.
Maybe I'll flash him on the screen.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking like
Like a jump scare though. Just go.
Yeah, that's good. He just kept popping up in movies like Sex Drive, Hot Tub Time Machine. He was in Kick-Ass. He had a walk on role in Superbad. And he just kept popping up in these movies, and I kept like, nobody wants to fuck this kid. Why do they keep showing, like, keep making it seem like people want to fuck him?
Yeah, I think they make it the quirky thing of like, oh yeah, like he's clearly a dork, but like all the chicks love him. Haha.
Yeah,
it's funny.
they were doing the whole like, oh, he's funny and he's sarcastic and he's got game because he's. But like, no, dude, you want to fuck that?
I mean, me not personally.
Do
no.
you want to fuck that?
No, sir. No, sir.
I just keep flashing it on the screen. Do you want to fuck that? Sorry, Clark Duke. I don't mean anything personally.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure he's a fine dude.
he's 5'6", and no matter how much weight he loses, he still has fat in his face. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he's got the baby face look.
I'll call it baby face. Fat face.
Come on.
Sorry.
Best actor in a motion picture drama: Chadwick Boseman, Anthony Hopkins, Gary Oldman.
Yeah, for Mank, right? Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
That best actor role or best actor
Drama
category is a precursor to the Oscars, I think, and that's pretty interesting because, first of all, it's going to be interesting to see if the Oscars throw a nomination to a Netflix movie.
Yeah,
that'll be very interesting because for a couple of reasons. Number one, it'll be the changing of the guard, right? It'll be officially like, okay, you're acknowledging streaming services because they still haven't, as far as I know, they still haven't nominated anything from a streaming service. Number two, it'll be very interesting because I don't know if you remember. Well, you'll remember, but for the audience, if you guys remember the movie Beasts of No Nation, Idris Elba, everyone said he put on a stellar performance that deserved an Oscar nomination, and they fucking snubbed him. So it'd be interesting to see if they go, all right, fine, it's Gary Oldman, we'll throw him a nomination.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be crazy to think he's not going to be included in that list.
But I think it would be pretty revealing if. But I would like to know their reasoning behind why now.
Yeah.
Was Beasts of No Nation too soon? I think that movie was 2013. Maybe it was too soon. Maybe the Oscars
had to be after that. I think it was more like 2016, 2017.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. But were they at a point where they still had leverage in the game and they can go, Netflix still, we're not gonna, there's nothing good on there. All they do is show The Office.
I don't know. I think this is the year they break through. I think just based on, obviously the state of the world. Now they could go the opposite route and stick to their guns and be like, no, theaters are an important institution and we need to stick to that.
That's what I would be interested to see.
So there is that possibility, but
how far will they dig their heels in the sand?
But there's so many on this list, to your point, that were only premiered on streaming services, and if not only, primarily. And I remember there was that rule that they said, like, as long as it shows in one theater or whatever,
it has to show in it. Yeah,
then it it's fine. So I think they went that route with some of these things, but I don't know.
The Golden Globes are pretty notorious for psyching people out. Somebody will get a nomination for a Golden Globe and you go, oh, well, then they're definitely getting an Oscar nomination. And then they don't even... Or somebody will win a Golden Globe and you go, well, they're definitely getting nominated. And then they don't even... They're like, nah, fuck you.
Yeah.
They did it to Jim Carrey a bunch. They do it all the time. Somebody will win a Golden Globe and you're like, okay, cool. So they're at least going to get nominated. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
And then they get snubbed at the Oscars.
Do you think that they're going to give it to Chadwick Boseman just as like a memoriam thing?
I think he has a really... if I was a betting man, which I am, I would put money on, yes, him winning at least... Well, I'll say this. Tentatively, right now, yes, I would put money on Chadwick Boseman winning Best Supporting Actor for Ma Rainey.
Yeah. Which I heard, like, I'm not trying to take anything away from his performance. I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard, like, a lot of people saying it's his best performance.
No. I mean, dude, I don't think it takes anything away from his performance to acknowledge the fact that the Oscars do that. They just fucking do that because they're just like, they'd rather win a popularity contest than to give it to who deserves the award. Not to say that he doesn't, but he has a better chance. The truth of the matter is he has a better chance because he died. Yeah. He just does. So, that sucks.
Well, it shapes the way you see his performance too, in a weird way. You can't completely divorce yourself from the fact that this was one of his final roles, and it being a great movie apparently is only a bonus to that, Well, not only does it inform his last couple of roles, but it also, I mean, if you think about it, his death informs pretty much everything that he's done since he became famous, because he was dealing with it the whole time. So you have to go back and watch all of those movies and go, God damn,
we didn't appreciate these roles at the. I mean, he was obviously popular and everybody loved him, and I liked him as an actor. I thought like it's gonna be fun once he breaks free of this Marvel thing to see what he does.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was doing that and doing it in a way that was going to garner him a lot of awards and whatnot. But the fact of the matter is, like, he was still in the thick of that, dealing with this life-threatening thing. And you have to go back and watch those performances and go, not only are they good performances by themselves, but to imagine what a guy is going through at the time. So, yeah, it informs a lot of that stuff. But... yeah, I think without knowing obviously who's nominated for the Oscars this year, who he's running against, like if there's no strong nominee in there, then I think the only thing, you know, right now the only thing I can think of is that Korean movie.
Oh yeah. The
movie with Glenn in it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, the fact is that it's an American movie.
Yeah.
That's the controversy.
Yes.
That's not a foreign film.
So if the Oscars don't go in that direction and they nominate it for what it deserves to be nominated for, and I think he would get a... If they don't put him in the best actor category, they would throw him in the best supporting category.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be a pretty interesting battle. But otherwise, if there's nothing else... Yeah, I think you just have to. I think you got to put all your chips on his side of the table, right? You just have to.
Yeah.
I just don't think. I don't know. It's been a slow year though. Nothing has come out where they're like, you gotta see this movie. It's so good. I mean, Ma Rainey is the only movie I can think of that people are like, you gotta see this. It's really good. His performance, and I think Viola Davis is in that.
Yes, yeah, she got nominated too for female.
Yeah, so those are the only like must see performances that I've seen. I mean, I've heard good things about all these other movies, but nothing in the way of like, you gotta see Parasite. What are you doing? You know, nothing like that.
Oh, and by the way, the movie with Steven Yeun is his name.
Yes,
it is called Minari, an A24 pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like there were a few, but it was only because, like, you know, obviously as a film guy, I'm like, I have my ear to the ground a bit. So, you know, I was looking forward to a few of these, but I tend to agree with you. I think the fact that we weren't in a place to be able to go to theaters and stuff kind of snubbed the experience of it all.
Yeah.
So there was a ton, because all of these things had to compete with like TV and reruns of everything because it's all on the same platform. So I think that kind of muddled the experience of like, this thing's premiering and it's great, check it out. You know, for the most part.
Yeah,
there were a few exceptions to that, but yeah. So anyway, we'll cut to the big one, which is Best Director as well. So they have David Fincher for Mank, Regina King for One Night in Miami, Aaron Sorkin for The Trial of the Chicago 7, Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, and Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman.
That is fucking stacked.
Yeah,
because those are some. Oof, wow.
Yeah, those are all ones that you've at least heard of.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we'll get back to that in a second. But the not promising with the Emily in Paris thing, that show was panned. How is it getting nominations?
It's funny you say that, because I saw a lot about it because of that. Because people are like, I think it was sarcastic, but on Twitter they're like, you just don't get it. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I think it's another thing of like, this just being such a weird year for everything.
Yeah.
So there are a few things that like got through, I guess.
Weird, dude.
That's the only way I can explain it. I'm sure there are good things about it, but it being nominated for one of the most prestigious award shows in the world, just kind of strange.
Yeah.
I mean, not that any of this really matters, but
no, it doesn't.
You know, still interesting.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to qualify any of that. This is the One Baron podcast, and what we talk about is important, okay? The Golden Globes are important because we decided to talk about them.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, maybe not. But right here, when you
super important.
Yeah, you took out a chunk of your day to listen to this podcast, you better believe the Golden Globes are the most important thing.
It's vital.
It's vital.
I will say shout out to Maria Bakalova for Borat, subsequent movie film, because she was incredible in that.
She get nominated for
She
Best
did.
Supporting Actress?
She did for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy.
Oh, Best Actress.
So she gets my vote
Okay.
off bat because
Nice,
she
nice,
deserves
nice,
it
nice.
because she was great, even on the improv stuff. So
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the Golden Globes are a pretty fun precursor to awards season and how the voters are going to handle shit like that. But sometimes you never know, man. You never know. I mean, there's years where one actor will just fucking clean up, and then you get to the Oscars, and they're just like, nope. I mean, there was one year, I can't remember what was the movie? Fuck me. The year that Joaquin Phoenix won for Joker, was that 2018? 2018 or 2019?
2019, yeah.
Well, there was somebody else that year that was getting a bunch of... Oh, it was Adam Sandler for Uncut Gems.
Right.
And he was cleaning up, dude. Cleaning house. And they were like, oh, well, he for sure will at least get nominated.
Yeah.
And he might win. People were saying he might win.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get nominated. I just don't know what more evidence you need. The racism, the classism, the favoritism. I don't know what more evidence you need that these fucking award shows are just worthless.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a guy who used to spend inordinate amount of time looking up nominees, watching old award shows, seeing reactions and going out, watching speeches, seeing who people were nominated against, learning the trivia of it, watching these movies and judging, like, did he really deserve to win it over this performance?
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be like the movie Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to matter a lot.
Yeah. And to me right now, it's as if the Super Bowl is being played by the two, like it's as if the Chiefs and the Patriots, or no, I'm sorry, not the Patriots, fucking Tom Brady. The Chiefs and the Bucks had the
Tom
best
Brady's.
records, and they won all of the games that they needed to win, and yet they still put the Cowboys in the Super Bowl because they're America's team. They're the most popular.
Yeah.
Everybody loves them. Blah blah blah. So they still put them in the Super Bowl. That's what the Oscars is right now. Just watching them just give the award away, and you're like, there's no prestige left. You're ruining this.
Yeah.
You're ruining it.
It's like boxing.
Yeah. Yeah. Tin cans, plastic awards,
Yep.
not given to the best, but given to the most popular or the most in your face. You know, stop with this. May not be the popular choice, but it's the best choice.
Stop with this.
Stop with this. Okay?
It's a real foreign way to say that.
Stop with this.
I appreciate it.
Stop with this.
Stop with this. Hey.
Hey.
Stop with this.
Stop with this.
Will you please stop with this?
Stop with this. Stop with this. All right. Let's stop with this shit.
Let's stop with this. Let's please stop with this.
All right, let's review these brewskis.
Okie dokie.
Obi, what did you think of the coffee and cream coffee IPA from Sideward and Whippoorwill?
I thought it was delicious.
Delicious.
I was a little concerned that the IPA wouldn't work with a coffee flavor because you usually get the coffee mixed with like a porter or a stout.
Yeah.
Or
Or even a dark ale or dark lager.
Yeah, usually darker beers, but the fact this is mixed with an IPA, pretty interesting idea.
Yeah.
But it works because, for me at least, the bitterness of the IPA works well with the bitterness of the coffee. And then on top of that, they have the lactose in there that makes it smooth the entire way through, which is really just a double whammy. So yeah, I mean, I really liked it. Let me just go. One more drop.
Good to the last drop.
Yeah. All that being said, yeah, I mean, I really liked it. I'm in between two scores right now, so I'm gonna give it a 4.75 because you did that last time.
Yeah, I did. And you know what? I'm gonna give this a 5, like you gave it last time. We're just gonna switch scores.
Okay.
Because I mean, you know, this hits at the heart of what I enjoy most about a really good craft beer. You can go out and you can get, you know, a New England IPA or you know, some kind of weird lager or a Gose or something like that. But when I am going for the best thing that I can find, I'm looking for a stout, I'm looking for a porter, I'm looking for a weird mix. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. Coffee beers, chocolatey beers, sweeter stuff. I don't know. I don't know why. Okay, I can't even explain it at this point. But what I can tell you is, this hit my lips, and I was like, "Yep, that's it. That's what I was looking for."
It's the good stuff.
You know, an IPA, like you said, it shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah,
it does, and I think it's due to the incredible ability of the brewers at Sideward. I think that they're an incredibly underrated brewery that I hope. Well, I don't hope, but I hope. I don't want them to become too spread too thin, and we start seeing them in fucking Publix grocery stores and in gas stations and shit. But at the same time, they fucking deserve it.
Yeah,
because they're an incredible brewery.
Just don't get bought up by InBev, please.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, everything. I mean, they're just. I mean, they got a handful of just straight up fucking
bangers.
Yeah, 5.5s to maybe 6s.
Yeah,
you know. So, if nothing else, you can be sure that the reputation of Sideward is still intact with this beer. So 5 for me.
All right.
4.75 for you, Obi. Take a deep breath. You think we got it?
I think we got it.
Well, then let's get the fuck out of here. This has been the One Baron Podcast. For myself, Mark Ladupo. For Adam Odysseus Rodriguez.
Hey, stop with this.
Thank you guys for listening. Like, share, and subscribe everywhere podcasts sold, listen to, watch, devoured, drank, enjoyed. Drink delicious beer and have a beautiful evening.
We love you.